Truck's in the yard. Going to reverse it into that spot there. Got a new Cali gas bottle, new oxygen bottles on the way with an 8-inch cutting tip. And then I'll set the GoPro up, and well, both of them, and we'll try and do a little time lapse of this thing coming apart. Plan is to cut these off first, and then I'll try and chop this bit off just along that weld. Following that, I'm going to cut those uprights off the slab, unbolt that obviously, if it will come apart. If not, I'll just cut through the ram, and then with any luck we'll be able to set fire to that block of wood, leave it to burn for a wee bit while we have our lunch, and hopefully it'll weaken it enough to just let the entire billet fall out halfway, at which point we'll test the cutting torch's max capacity, slice through that, and hopefully it will come out in 2 chunks. Because if I slice that, plan is it will fall to the ground and the top half will hopefully slide out behind it and fall on top. In theory, it'll work. If it doesn't, well, we'll see how sketchy things get. Just starting by taking these off. I'm amazed these are actually coming apart. But they'll make, I don't know, something useful. It's good heavy steel. So I'll come back once it's apart. Just started to drizzle. I've only gone inside to get my pry bar and a big hammer. So we're going to try and remove the side pieces now. This side's come away slightly, but I'm pretty sure it's just rusted on, so I mean that side won't even budge, and I don't really like standing right on the edge there, so I'm going to leave them on, and I think what I'll probably do actually, which should be easier, because I can wrestle these off on the floor, we will simply cut through that bottom beam and yeah, stay very far away from this as it falls to the ground. So obviously won't have to burn that out then, and I'm not going to be saving the frame for anything anymore, so there's no point in being nice to it. Hopefully this thing isn't seized up and totally locked in.
Do a swim, a 20k bike, and a 5k rod. Is that cool? Seriously? Okay. I'll just be up here. Come on, Dad.
My face is very hot.
That's not doing a very lot.
It's getting red. I swear the tip I had in here before was better. What? I know it is. Yeah, I'm trying to go through the ram. I am very sweaty right now. Yeah, I can see the threads on the ram. Are you fucking kidding? No. It's not even started, it's got into the thread.
Oh, but it'll blow nut off.
It'll blow a nut off, it won't cut in the thread. And I thought there'd be enough preheat in it by now.
Well, how would you cook something like that?
I don't know. With a much bigger torch, I guess.
Like how would they cook?
They were flame cut. But they'd use acetylene. I don't know if that's actually screwed into there or not. It might just be hanging on, it might just be stuck on the end with that big nut.
Oh, right there.
I hope it is. I put a lot of faith in a 30-year-old piece of wood.
I like that bit of wood. Sometimes I trust wood more than steel.
Oh yeah.
Wood doesn't bend, it just squishes and it's right.
I trust wood more than the tarmac.
Yeah, 100%.
What's on at Pod this weekend?
UFC.
Ah,
Yeah, next man. Was not interested.
no.
I'd go if I had a car that I knew was going down the strip, but it's a run what you've run all weekend, so I'd be quite happy with that. But
Yeah.
I've got nothing interesting to go down the strip. You think the nose of the ramp was pushed into the nut and then welded through?
Well, it looks that way. it's
movement in the house.
yes, yes indeed. I just rammed him with old Giuseppe.
The fox.
Probably about a foot of movement.
About half a foot.
Ah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Not much. Right.
And then
Man the gas axe. I reckon with gas axe, beam out.
yeah. It's just where that inch plate in it. You have to cut through the box section first.
The box section's not a problem.
No, it's getting to that inch plate.
Inch plate shouldn't be too much of a problem, hopefully.
Could be a problem.
Could be a problem. Hopefully not.
Okie dokie.
You want to go?
Do we put Giuseppe on the back of it, stop it coming?
No, we don't. We don't want him anywhere near it.
No, you're right there, we don't want anything near it.
Because if he flips over, we're fucked.
Proper.
Can you get me my mask off the please?
Welding helmet.
Hey?
Welding helmet.
Yeah. Not quite going to plan. The gas axe tips are fucking useless against this because, well, the steel's just that heavy, and there's that much of it is acting like a massive heat sink. Not ideal, but is what it is. The whole assembly has slipped back though, which is good. Not quite a whole foot, but a good amount. I'll get up top and show you the separation between the hydraulic ram and the block that it was screwed into. Oh, Scott's had to go, so it's just me now. Oh, there you go. You can see how far it's moved along the top now. Loads of grease, which is what's kind of been holding it in. So I'm hoping it will slide out enough that I can then sort of just drive forward. Once it touches the floor, I'm hoping I can kind of just drive forward and the rest will slide out. But we'll see. Again, yeah, so just under a foot's come off. But that cutting tip is absolutely useless. So yeah, it's a shame I've got to chop the box up so much to get to the 1 inch plate, but there's nothing else I can do. Gonna go grab the grinder, take a section out of there, and hopefully by then that bit will cool down. Then take a section out of that bit, and with any luck, I say, be able to run the forklift back into the side of this and make it drop. So we're kind of through. That box took absolutely ages to cut. I scored it with the grinder to create a weak point, and then went through it with the gas axe. I should now have enough room to get the grinder in and do the same to the 1 inch plate. Hopefully it will just fall off after that, but we'll see. I'm hoping I've made this cut wide enough as well, as you see that one's a bit longer than this one. Little grinders up there, so I'll get cutting I'll come back. I am absolutely knackered though. It's taken me ages, but I managed to cut that off. There's so much steel around it, it just acts like a heat sink the whole time. It barely got red in localised spots. So, yeah. Bring the gas lights down, as well as all the tools off the truck. And then we're going to try and knock this off. So, just bear with me. I'm going to set the camera up down there on one of those bins, hop in the forklift, and we'll see what happens. We're not far off, but it must just be stuck on gunk and other crap. The forklift's working as hard as it can. It's kind of got it out, what, just under a metre. But I think that's probably it. Just started to tidy up all my shit now. As you can see, gas axed it, which took forever, as you know. We've managed to slide it out about a metre, but it's at the limit of what my forklift can manage. So I've left the strap up at the top. You can just see the loop. It's round the crossbar. What I'm going to do on Monday is ask the landlord if he can bring his telehandler out, and I will use that in order to lift this up fully, so the billet can drop out. It probably only needs about a foot more lift than my forklift can manage in order to slide out. And then, see, once it's slid out, I'll lower it back down, park the telehandler in front of it over there with the boom across it, just to kind of wedge the to to anchor the billet in place. So I'll hook a chain around that. Oh, I'm absolutely knackered, I can't think properly. I will wrap a chain around the shaft that runs through the centre of those two fixing eyes, or fixing points, whatever you want to call them, and hopefully if I drive forward it'll just slide out. I was really hoping that the whole thing would just slide out nice and easily when I lifted it up, or in fact even better when I just cut the fixing points, but it hasn't. So that's yeah, that's it. I'm gonna head home, have a beer and a good wash, because I'm covered in soot and smoke and everything. This is just not a nice truck to work on at the minute, but as soon as that's off, I'll be very happy. Once the slab's out, I will lift this up vertical with the telehandler and cut through the pivots down there. There's three sort of inch, is it three? Four 4.25 inch pieces that of steel that hold it on. I know they're going to be an absolute nightmare to chop off, so what I'll do is I will suspend this vertically with the telehandler, and I will probably see if I can either borrow a plasma cutter that'll cut through inch plate. Mine will do 5/8, so I'll probably I might actually run an extension out and use my plasma to gouge it, because I think gouging with the plasma cutter will be a lot faster than the gas axe. I'm on propane and it just doesn't have the cutting power of acetylene. Once that's off, it's kind of, yeah, well, it's easy, plain sailing. I'll cut the rams off. I should be able to just get, I'll just run them, I'll just take a 9-inch grinder and slice through them with a cutting disc. And yeah, hopefully find someone to come and pick this up, because I don't know of any of the scrapyards around here will be able to lift it. Bit of a fail, this video. Well, partial success, shall we say, or partial fail. And then once the back's off, we'll play with the Deutz. I want to get that started, I want to get it running, and I'll either sell it or keep it for something, I don't know what. And the hydraulic tank can come off as well. I've still not done that because, well, there's pipes everywhere and I haven't had the time because I've been working on customer cars. So I'll walk back to the unit now. So the little boat's done. I just need to fit the oil pressure sender and the customer can have that back. And in here, a bit of a mess from the container. You've seen that earlier in the video, the container landed. I've got boxes and other crap in here. Hopefully that box is getting picked up by my mate. It's basically a DIY Mustang fastback kit. And then I can work on this again because I've got everything on order from Rock Auto. It's getting new brakes, all round flexies, master cylinder, wheel cylinders, shoes, everything, just to make sure it's spot on and drivable. It's also got a new clutch clutch master to go in it. And then, yeah, I will attempt to drive it out of here and into the yard. Just take it up and down, and hopefully it will have brakes the whole way. But you never know with these old cars. Whilst I remember, I've got a little L33 that came in my last container, or the container that I've stuck with video on at the start of this. Brains fried. The container that came in earlier this week and I put a video up of. So I've got all the parts to build a really nasty little 5.3. I'm thinking I'll pull a set of pistons off the shelf, bump this up to around 11:1 compression, use the stock cathedral port heads, an MSD. Actually, I don't know. I might use. I've got 2 or 3 sets of stock ECU and wiring harness and truck intake manifolds, so I will actually probably use that. I've got a Saturn 5. I think it's a Saturn 5 camshaft, which is like the biggest one you can put in one of these without having to do much other than check piston clearance and maybe do a fly cut. And the little tubular space frame, I've had it for sale for about 2 or 3 months now. No one's really shown any interest, or those who've shown interest have been fuckwits who I'm not going to deal with. So I've got that, a Dana 60 hiding in the corner, a 14 bolt hiding out front, and a TH400 clutch hiding behind the fenders. And for those of you who've not seen a TH400 clutch, it's basically like running a clutchless manual. Think of it like the big rigs transmission. You use the clutch to start and stop, and once you're rolling, the auto, you just slam gears. You don't have to float them. There's no RPM matching, just slam them. And yeah, it's an old school Lenco kind of idea, basically. The whole clutchless manual setup. They work really well, pretty tough, and if I'm running that, making say 450, 500 brake, it'll be spot on. The other option is I can always take off the front, the modified front pump, put a stock setup back on, and run it with an Ultra Bell. I'm not sure if I've got one on the shelf, so yeah, I know I've got some Lenco bell housings on the shelf I might be able to make work, so we'll see. But yeah, that will be a future project. So if you've subscribed and you're following along, stay tuned for that one. I've got someone coming to look at the autocar, I think next week. So again, if he buys that, there's going to be a lot more money to throw back into the Kenworth, and there'll be a lot of progression on the autocar at weekends as well. I'll probably dedicate one day to the autocar, and then one day to the Kenworth over the weekends to just smash them out, because if I'm not the one having to pay for 2 projects at once, obviously everything's going to move a lot faster. The Bel Air in the corner, I do need to make a start on that again. I've been slacking. I've made repair panels, I've made roll cage feet and outriggers for the roll cage. It's just blocked in. So as soon as it's able to be freed off and this is off the ramp and the Mustang's sorted, we will start on that again. So more content for the channel. I've been looking for an English wheel as well, so I can start doing more and more paneling, which is a bit odd now that I'm not running the shop full time, but I want to do it. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. I could do with one for rolling the hood for the Kenworth and, you know, just adding a little bit of shape. It'll be a fun learning process. I've got some 0.9 steel and some 1.2 steel down there, which I'll use for practice before I make the hood for the Kenworth out of 2mm alley, because I've got 5 sheets of 2mm alley at the back of the shop. And now, yeah, I am going to end the video here because I want a beer. I'll catch you lot next time. Thanks for watching if you made it to the end. And yeah, hopefully I'll get that billet falling out on film, because it's going to come out with a big bang being 12 tons.